Hello everyone, my name is Seán Ferrick and welcome to episode 7 of Ups and Downs for Star Trek Lower Decks. I am joined by the wonderful Marcus Bronzy. Marcus, how are you, my friend?
I'm all good, man. I am feeling great. Thank you very much for having me on today's show. You know, people say that they've never seen myself and Adam Clary in the same video. Are we the same person? No one has ever said that, actually. I'm here and I'm ready to go, bruv.
Would you believe people have also said the same thing about me and Ash Millman?
Yeah, but that's true, though. You are the same person.
Oh, that's actually true, yeah.
That's an up.
The wig in the back.
Yeah, that's an up for me. That's an up for me as well. That's great. So, yeah, thanks for having me on on today's show. And I believe I am new. So can I break it down for the newbies who might be watching this for the first time?
Go for it.
Is it something to do with if there's something good in the episode, we'll give it an up? And if there's something bad, we'll give it a down. And if there's something in between, we just won't talk about it.
This is basically, you're doing my job for me. So this is perfect. That's exactly what this is going to be.
All right, wicked. All right, cool.
All right, so with that, we are going to get straight into Star Trek Lower Decks, Episode 7, Much Ado About Boimler. So, okay, where are we starting this week? We start cold open. We've got the three of them. We've got Mariner, Boimler, and Rutherford. They are beat. They are done. They are ready to go to bed, and Tendi wants to show them her science project. Yeah. What did this remind you of, Marcus?
Well, to be honest, it reminded me of how clever she is as a person, and also John Carpenter's The Thing. Why? Because she presents them with her version of a dog called The Dog, and it, well, basically has been created by somebody who doesn't know what a dog should be because she's not human. So it looks normal, looks like a normal lab, and then after a few seconds starts to morph and mutate and climb across the ceiling a la John Carpenter's The Thing. So a lovely cold open with a very creepy dog, reminding me that Lower Decks is an adult cartoon, not for kids. All right.
Yeah, I got the exact same feeling. When that dog's eyes started glowing red, I questioned whether I'm a dog person or not. But yeah, for me, the whole thing and Mariner's reaction of, wake me if it becomes important, straight away, bang, up for me.
Boom.
Bing. Bing. So then we go into the opening credits, which have not lost their charm for me yet. I'm still enjoying it. I still love that big bug thing sucking on the back of the Cerritos.
Yeah, I mean, can I give my opinion on the openings? I don't know if I'm asking for too much, but I feel like they're maybe missing a trick here with a sofa gag. So, you know, like The Simpsons always has, you know, a different intro. I feel like there could be room for that. Maybe I'm asking for too much because they cram so much into 24 minutes or so of every single Lower Deck. So, you know, be honest with me. Am I asking for too much, Sean? Is there room for a sofa gag?
I don't think it's too much. I think it would be a nice way to kind of get us away from the skip intro thing that we've got into with streaming. Yeah, you know, because of that, I'll be watching an episode of Next Gen or DS9. I love both of those intros. I haven't watched one of those intros in any of my rewatches over the last while. So this would be a nice way, I think, of maybe getting people to stop skipping intro. People put effort into that.
Yeah, man. I think that's you know what? If they give us this, look at me taking over the show, Sean, sorry. But if they give us the couch gag, Mike and the team, from Lower Decks, if you do that for us, we'll give you a whole up, all right? If you do that for the next season. So you can part that one on the side there.
That is grand. That's a placeholder up. Editor, Chris, I hope you're keeping that in mind. Maybe hide it behind a cloud or something.
Yes.
We have straight after that, it's a pretty busy episode. You've got your main plot, which is Mariner. Mariner takes center stage really this week because you've got a bloody brilliant placeholder captain because, Marcus, Operation Plant.
So Admiral Siltrak has got an elite team from the Cerritos. He's asked for the best of the best, which of course, you know, consists of Captain Freeman, Shax, and Commander Jack Ransom. And they have been told that they need to germinate some, is it rouleau or roulotte seeds? Am I saying it wrong?
Roulotte seeds.
Roulotte seeds, which is, I'm sure there's an Easter egg in there somewhere that Sean will bring up at some point.
Be.
Oh, yes,
there
yes.
Might be.
Basically to another planet and help to get them germinated. So it sounds pretty cool, and they are wearing the full blackout ninja style covert operation suits, but really in the true style of the Cerritos, they've been asked to basically take a seed and plant it and make sure that it grows into a plant.
I mean, it's a super important role in these climate changey times.
Hey, we got to eat. We all got to eat. So do you know what I mean? Presuming we can eat that plant, the seeds need to be sown. It's got to be used for something. All right. It's important in a way. It's life. It's very Starfleet of them. It's just not like, Section 31 level business, is it?
Not really. Funny you should mention Section 31, though, because we have a whole new section of Starfleet gets introduced in this episode. We have our B plot, if you like, is Boimler. Boimler gets boimed away, and that leads to some issues.
Yeah, Boimler gets boimed up, and I think that's probably the last time or the second to last time we're going to use that joke, because that's actually in the episode. We'll move on. So yeah, he comes across Rutherford, who's maintaining, or should we say, trying to upgrade the transporter. He's trying to add a 0.7 second speed to it. And if you know Trek, if you've watched Trek over the years, almost in every single iteration, we've had a issue with the transporter. One of the episodes that really stands out to me, for some reason, I don't know why, is Enterprise's version, Vanishing Point, where Hoshi gets semi-transported and is out of phase, right? So the way they crack the joke in this episode is Boimler thinks, great, the best way to get up the visiting captain's bottom who's coming to the station is to be helping to improve transporter speed. So he offers to jump in. Rutherford transports him once. I'm like, everything's going to go wrong. It doesn't. So that's the setup for the joke. And then the punch is he goes, well, let's keep testing it then. So he goes, boom, 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 test him. All of a sudden, Boimler comes out glowing blue, out of phase, and they crack some good jokes in here, because these are quite tricky jokes. When you're out of phase, you're supposed to be here but not be here in a different plane. So they're trying to communicate with each other, and they talk for a bit, and then they keep going like, "Oh, what was that? What was that?" And that's like it's a very in joke, but it's a great joke to pull in, because from the movie franchises, TNG off the top of my head, Enterprise, Voyager, we've had transporter issues in every single kind of iteration, as far as I know off the top. So it's a very, very canon joke. So great joke to get into there. Great way to set up Boimler's journey through this episode.
It's very good. He gets stuck with that. So first of all, before I go on, up for this scene, because up for his storyline in this one. We like Boimler this one. It's nice. Very, very funny. Yeah. And what it is as well is because you don't realize how annoying the transporter noise is until you're listening to it for more than the few seconds of the actual transport. He comes on the bridge, he's sent to sick bay, he's in sick bay. Rutherford thinks he's fixed the entire thing. All he does is turns the volume down. And so they think the best thing to do to sort out Boimler in this is whoosh him off on the USS Event Bloody Horizon, and or USS Osler, but I stand by my name. And he gets introduced to Division 14, which is another super shadowy division, I think, maybe. And the dog is shipped off with him, and we get a returning species. First time since about 1973, we get the Adosians come back. Lieutenant Commander, I might have just promoted him, Arix from the animated series, 3 legs, 3 arms, 0 personality, comes in with his face mask. So good just to see him back straight away, up from me, because that species should have been back. What do you think, Marcus?
I think it's a great throwback, and they really bring it up to date. And again, they managed to cram in, like Lower Decks only can, a whole load of canon after the introduction. You see Boimler enter the ship, Section 14, takes command of, and they're going to go to the farm. All right. And there's a saying, when your pet goes to the farm when you're younger, they're going to a sad place. But so they get on there, and you see a plethora of people that have had Starfleet problems, should we say, or when things have gone wrong on missions, that in only a way that could happen in the future in Starfleet. You get a bunch of mishaps. So there's people that look like they've been transported through each other. There's like I think it's just a head which is just by itself. There's a head with some bits that are sticking out. I think there is. Maybe that's a joke that I've alluded to later on, but there's a head by itself, but clearly still alive. And then there's a bunch of canon mishaps that have happened over the years, which again, I don't know, Sean, this is ups and downs. We got Easter eggs at the end. Do you want to go through them now, or should we dig them up later?
I'm gonna what I do, because the Easter eggs will run into a nice gag at the end, so we're gonna put a pin in that for a second, right?
Cool.
Because we got to talk about Mariner. So her best mate from the academy is now a captain. So what year were they there together? How long has Mariner been an ensign for? Is she rivaling Harry Kim for years as an ensign?
Yeah, I mean, she it's a great reveal, because we're expecting this visiting captain to be like, super strict. Whenever we've had a visiting captain in the past, the episode's gonna slip me. I know it's Sean off the top.
What am I talking about? Chain of command.
That's it. Chain of command. Sorry, my bad. And obviously you see Riker having a real hard time kind of taking on any kind of change from Captain Jellicoe, who has a very different captain experience. So we're expecting that grind, right? So, but instead, we see two friends meet up. We're like, hey, Anita, how you doing? Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mariner, you were such a kick-ass person. I can't wait to be working with you. Almost, alludes to maybe saying, hey, this may be why, might have put myself forward to come along and show some of the crew that I've been working with, how a real badass in Starfleet does it. And there's a little snide remark saying, oh, still an ensign. And again, a great way to add background to a character with just a few sentences, and opens the door for loads of canons, loads of throwbacks, loads of episodes where we can go back in time and see, this model Starfleet Academy student, who was top of her class, really, to be honest, and how she's kind of ended up being the person who is still handing out the flyers outside a nightclub on a Friday night, whilst their mate has been promoted to bar manager, or I don't know, probably running the franchise by now. Bad example, because clubs are closed at the moment. But anyway, moving on, Sean.
I was going to say, nightclub? What's a nightclub? But, so obviously you got Anita's delighted to, show off her friend to her crewmates as well. They go down to their planet, to the Bog planet, which is just nowhere I want to visit. Yeah. And their job is, let's fix the water filtration program. And something starts to go wrong. And then we get to my first down of the episode, which is, we find out later on why this happens, but Mariner's, oh no, I've left the bag of tricorders on the ship. And I'm like, dude, that's not funny. You're putting people in harm here.
Look, there's three things that you need to make sure you bring to an away mission, right? And that is comm badge, and that's stuck to you, so that's not hard to lose, and a phaser and a tricorder. Sometimes you can have two and not the third. Cool, whatever, but you do not leave tricorders on your ship, right? So that is a mistake. And also, this is the episode after we heard Mariner say she'd make mistakes, but nothing that would put people at harm. This mistake almost kills people that are resident on the planet, and almost blows up the away team as well. So, she's just been offered a chance to work with her best friend, with, potential to be given a position next to her as number one. She's even referred to as number one, isn't she? So, Anita, Captain Ramsey, got my place, says, number one to her before she does this. So, to be fair, Mariner shouldn't be doing stuff that endangers other people. Silly things I'd take, but I can't see her making a mistake that would kill other people. So I'm with you on that, down.
I gotta say, this may seem harsh, but you know what? This is our show. Anyway, so...
For this week, it is for me. That's it, right? We'll see how it goes. See what the feedback's like.
I can feel Adam Cleary's eyes staring at me. We come back up this ship. They've done their job. They go off to meet the USS Rubidoux, and they find, wreck in space. So we got an issue. It's another California-class ship. Actually, it's another reference to areas in California. Cerritos, Rubidoux, these are all places in California, or so Wikipedia told me just before I came on this podcast. Videocast.
Vodcast. There we go.
I like it.
Trekcast.
I see it. Not just a pretty face, Marcus. Not just a pretty
face. I've run out now. Let's continue.
They get there. They beam over, and again, Mariner's making mistakes. She can't get the gravity boots to work.
Yeah.
Ramsey's starting to get a bit embarrassed at this point. She says, "I need you to pull it together. I need you to be the person that I know you to be."
Yeah. I felt a bit embarrassed for her as well. I was like, Mariner, I thought that your thing was to pull it out the bag, even if you did it unconventionally. But come on, at your stage, mag boots, do you know what I mean? Gravity boots. That's something that's day one, innit? That's day one stuff you don't forget. So yeah, something's up. Do you know what I mean? And we're about to find out why. We are.
We are, because you could nearly, like, the rest of this is they find the crew. The crew are hanging out in anti-grav. They say, don't turn on the power. What do? They turn on the power. Turns out there is an alien living inside the ship, and then we get that change. Mariner goes from screw up to she's more of a boss than Ramsey is.
Exactly, yeah. So classic, just to wheel it back a touch, classic sci-fi storyline. Away crew goes to a ship that is all shut down and there's bodies and everything doesn't look right. So they go, hey, let's turn the power on. And just as they're about to turn it on, somebody who is the captain of the ship they're trying to say, which I can't remember their name, Sean, off the top of my head. I'm going to give myself
Captain
a down for that. Sorry, Captain.
Captain Dayton.
That's it. Captain Dayton says, whatever you do, don't turn the powers on, Captain. Powers up. And then stuff, I was about to say another word, stuff starts to go very sideways, which we'll get right back to. But at that time, Mariner decides to, sedate said captain by giving her a good old slap to the jaw, which knocks her out. Which means Ramsey turns around to her and goes, hang on, where's the badass come from now? Like, you couldn't even do your grav boots. You forgot to bring the tricorder out of the ship. So what's happening now? And then this is like a really good opening point where we find out that Mariner's real reason for fluffing up deliberately is she doesn't want that promotion. She doesn't want to be number one. She enjoys her position because she has more fun that way. And there's a little bit of a rough patch between them, saying, well, why didn't you just explain that? And then there's a very charming point where it says, Ramsey says, if I don't promote you, will you be a badass and get us out of this situation? And Mariner says, yes, let's do it, which is a nice tie. I like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for me, I'm actually giving their relationship in this episode, that's enough for me.
Yeah, man.
Do you agree?
Nice. With you on that one. With you on that.
Cool. So they get off the ship. There's one more thing there, but that'll come at the end. Back to Boimler, who has, become one with these freaks. Their word, not mine.
That's what they say. They call themselves the freaks, all right? Get out of the comments, right? They call themselves the freaks.
That's it, yeah. So they have had enough. They've been locked away. They've been there for months on this hellscape of a ship. They decide that they're going to overtake the crew. They're going to take over. Boimler joins in, and in the same breath, rats on them. Yeah. And, he's like, this is happening. This is happening.
Freaks fight back. Freaks fight back. Freaks are actually trying to do a mutiny on the ship, Cap. So I just thought I'd let you know. And where are we going to go from here? So classic Boimler, who wants to just follow whoever's in the room. And then as soon as he can, he does a very Starfleet thing.
It is,
and grasses up the mutinous. I don't even know if they're serving, but the prisoners that want to take over the ship and find their own planet where they can be freaks in peace, because everyone is convinced that this ratty looking Star Trek ship, which looks more like the inside of a bird of prey, right? It looks more like a Klingon lounge. Well, it looks like a Klingon mess. That's what it reminds me of from TNG when like Riker was doing his little, what do we call it? Exchange trip to the Klingon side. That's what it reminds me of. So they want to get out, man. They want to get out, and then obviously being a respectful commanding officer, the captain of the ship, Seán, actually responds in quite a nice, sensible, calm way, right?
Absolutely. He grabs a security team, grabs a phaser rifle, breaks down the door, and says anyone who is mucking about is going to be in trouble. But basically, all he's saying is that they'll just be confined to quarters for the rest of the trip. They think the rest of the trip is forever. And just as things are about to escalate, Boimler stops phasing, becomes normal again, so he's grassed on them. He's no longer a freak, so they do the perfectly reasonable thing of they airlock him.
Yeah, man, and I think that's a bit. These are ex-Starfleet. They're not even ex-Starfleet. They're still Starfleet. This is a bunch of Starfleet people who are under strain. I mean, I don't know how long they have all been on this ship for, but I don't feel like it's very Starfleet to throw someone out of an airlock. To airlock somebody ain't really the one. So I don't like that, Seán. I don't know. I feel like maybe if they beat him up a bit, that'd be cool. We're giving it down. Yeah, okay, I'm giving it down. Yay! But yeah, that gets it down from us. However, this gives us a nice conclusion to Boimler's story. As he is pumped out into the airlock, we see a little flash of white. He realizes he's not dead after a few seconds, and lo and behold, they're on this Riser-esque planet, which is actually the farm, a beautiful facility set up to help rehabilitate everybody as well as relaxing them. They got help 2-to-1 by employees who are, if I'm going to be honest with you, none of them are bad lookers. Okay?
Yeah.
And they're in paradise, really, aren't they? Which is what it looks like.
Do you know what, as well? The This is a good point. I'm going to do Easter eggs here because one of my favorite gags of the episode happens here. So just flying through the Easter eggs really quickly, we get Jellicoe name dropped. We get the whole chain of command subplot of that side mission with Shrek's looking so bored when when they ring into the ship. We have
they keep punching into that. Shrek looks horrendously bored. Ransom doing actual bicep curls.
Was like, how busy are ye?
They call halfway through a Black Ops mission, which you don't do. It's radio silence. You basically, if it doesn't work out, we will deny all knowledge of it. But there they are going, hey, just checking in because, planting that plant is extra pressure. But whatever. Sorry.
It's cool. But no, you're dead right. We have as well is the Osler, I was going to call it the Event Horizon again. So that room is so full of Easter eggs. You've got the old and young person. First of all, is wearing a First Contact uniform, which is
good
always
spot.
lovely.
I didn't clock that. Okay, cool. That gives us
the only one. Yeah, in this episode, it's got the purple across. Right. It's got half old, half young, a bit like Voyager Scientific Method. You've got name drops Rascals from TNG season 6. Yep. There to start ticking these things off. We've got a salamander in the corner. Could that be Tom Powers? Could it be one of the babies who managed to get home?
Is it the baby that him and Janeway had? Because I swear, look, I need to find out. Someone needs to write a book. Did they have sex? Did they actually do it? Did they really get jiggy? We need to know what their offspring was like when you see two slimy salamander doing it. Nice throw to Voyager as well, and the warp threshold idea as well. That's sick.
Absolutely. And you got the two officers fused through a transporter. Well, I mean, that's two Vics there.
Oh, two Vics. Okay, cool. Yeah, all right, wicked. Nice.
But my favorite gag comes from, I think it's Ensign Jana, who got exposed to Delta rays, comes wheeling out in the Captain Pike chair, very grim scene on the ship, switch to wearing a Hawaiian shirt with two other wheelchairs once they're on the farm, the Ryzian planet. Oh,
do you know what, Sean? This is the first episode, I guess, and I'm going to ask your permission, right? Can we give this a double up? And I'll tell you why. 2 ups, right? Because they've managed to take one of the grimmest parts of Trek, right? For starters, this is a story that they've managed to pluck from the original series before maybe even that started, really, if you want to look at timelines, right? And this is also something that is really current now to Discovery. We're going to be watching Pike walk around knowing that he's going to end up in a wheelchair, unable to speak in a very bad way. So it's super, super sad, right? And then we're now going to see... now they managed to take that whole story and make that into a joke that's friggin' amazing. 3 people in these kind of restrictive chairs. One of them wearing a Hawaiian shirt, clearly enjoying life, but you wouldn't know because they can't move their face. But whatever, cool. So yeah, that's great. And there's a Gorn in there as well. Can we slip the Gorn in too as well? There's a Gorn.
Hell yes, we can. Yeah.
In the background, in the captain's quarters. Mariners messing around, and we see that in the background too. I know you saw that too, Sean. I know we both mentioned that.
You are so nice. Yeah, you are so nice. But you're dead right. That whole plot line, all of the Easter eggs, and that I love Boimler's plot line this week. I have to say, I thought it was very funny. I love the little resolution we get with the slightly magic dog at the end as well. Still doing some weird transforming thing. Is delighted to have new things to pee on. Flies off. Into the distance. Tendi has a new friend out there on the farm. The only good experience of a dog going to the farm I've ever heard of. Yeah,
exactly. Oh, Friday, and the dog talks as well. So reoccurring character, who knows?
Yes,
we might see that happen too.
Captain the dog.
Captain the dog, yes.
Captain the dog. Back on the Cerritos, the final moment, the funniest moment, the nicest moment. The Rubido breaks apart, and we see Easter egg. It's the big space creature from Encounter at Farpoint.
Wicked.
I love it. Just up for me. That episode is not a great episode, but that ship is pretty.
Yeah, man. And what a great tie-in as well. Again, the team at Lower Decks have really made sure that they're kind of proving to us that they know canon and they're funny. Not as funny this episode in terms of jokes, but I feel like we had a rhythm. I feel like they're cramming a lot in, and I feel like even though, and I remember Adam said this last week, we would really like to see, and this is more of a personal opinion, a plot line happening on the ship and seeing how it affects Lower Decks. This week we couldn't have that because the stories pulled them apart a little bit, but I still found like it was enjoyable. It had the beats. Do you know what I mean? Maybe, I'd like an episode like this once in a while. It was good. And we're 7 episodes in, 3 more to go before the end of the season. let's hope that they can maintain the energy in this, and we don't just get a little taste of Q. Give me some proper Q, man. Like, if they told us that we're going to see Q in this, let's have an episode revolving around him, please. I'm just going to put that out there. Well,
you know what? Based on that, will you join me for the rest of this series to find out if we get a proper Q scene?
Absolutely not. Of course I will, man. Of course I will. I'm here. I'm ready when you are, man. Thank you very much for having me on today's show, and I'll be more than happy to join you in the future, man. So is that us? Are we all done now? Is that?
That's is it. That is all we have time for this week. Very quick special shout out, Marcus. Thank you for that lovely, very promotable hair. Just want to throw that out there now as well.
No problem.
If people want to reach out and find you, which I'm sure they do, where can they find you online?
You find me on Trek Culture on YouTube for starters, because I do videos on there other than this, and also at Marcus Bronzy, MarcusBronzy. You can find me on all social medias, and I do a podcast called How to Kill an Hour, where we talk about tech and gadgets in the real world.
Lovely. And I have been Seán Ferrick. You can find me at Seán Ferrick on all of the socials somewhere, most active on Twitter. You can also find me at Trek Culture as well. I tend to do a thing here or there. I will be back next week with the lovely Marcus for episode 8 of Ups and Downs. In the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Very quick thank you to our amazing editor, Chris, who just doesn't sleep and gets everything put together.
Wizard.
Guys, you have been amazing. Thank you very much.
That was awkward.